Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
And welcome back to another Vic Akers Wonderland podcast. It's another WSL preview. So, of course, it's me, Adam Salter, back in the hosting chair, joined once again by my co-conspirators, the lovely Lottie and the magnificent Matt in the hat. Lottie, it's been quite the week.
Oh, yeah, it's been an interesting week. Obviously, need to apologise to everyone. It's my fault that we weren't around on Tuesday. I caught some random bug and I was really quite badly ill. So and I didn't tell the boys till like last minute, so they kind of left it. But yeah, it's been an interesting week football-wise. I can't wait to get into it.
No, absolutely. I mean, what it has meant, it's meant all the more things for me to talk about on with me in the hosting chair. So I'm not going to complain too much on this one. So it should be a cracker. Matt, exciting transfer window, big finale. Looking forward to picking it apart.
Yeah, I am, and I was quite impressed when you did the Chelsea preview. I know we can all hold down the fort, but there was it was quite nice to look back even when you're not on the episodes and just be like, oh, you brought up some really good points and things like that. And I think going into that game, I think we'll talk about that a bit later as well, but yeah, I was quite impressed how it went, and yeah, it's been a really impressive week as well. For me.
Excellent. Oh, for you, anything?
Yeah,
anything you'd like to share with the class?
Just from what I've seen from the club.
Ah, right, yeah. Okay, well, you mentioned the Chelsea game. We may as well start there. That was the game of last weekend, and sadly, as we always do when we travel away to Chelsea, it was a defeat. It was 1-0 to the Blues at Stamford Bridge, a Guru writing penalty in the final 10 minutes. Now, I missed the first half for work-related reasons. I did catch the second half. Lottie, you were there, were you not, with the gang? Just talk us through, well, firstly, the first half. I never saw it. I've seen the highlights, but I didn't see it all. I had to listen to it on the radio. But what was the first half like?
Do you know what? It was very touch and go through the first sort of half. They were down the other end of the pitch, so which was a slightly good thing because Manu, hang on, who was in goal? Daphne was down our end. Yeah. So it was a quiet-ish half because it was very 50-50. I mean, we didn't roll over like last year, so I was quite content with the first half. I was like, yeah, just get through the next half and continue. I mean, the atmosphere at Chelsea, they've had 34,000 and something, new record for them, but there's Arsenal fans in the home stands everywhere. So, but yeah, no, the shed end was in very loud chorus. I think, although I think it's hilarious now, it weren't funny at the time. They were trying to test which stand was the loudest. And of course, you couldn't hear the stands because the Arsenal fans were booing every time it wasn't the shed. So I think we won that one, and the guy like sort of got annoyed, and then they completely changed the subject of what was going on. So because we were waiting to say, oh yeah, the shed's louder, because like obviously we filled up with like upstairs and downstairs. So it was interesting. I did get to travel to the game with Aaliyah Williamson's mum and I think her grandparents, which was quite interesting. I ended up sticking a load of Champions of Europe all over like Zagreb stickers on the tube. I stuck some in Stamford Bridge. It'll be interesting to see if they're there next year.
Well, we'll see. I mean, as the game, you say you were where the away stand, away fans were such rather. It was behind Daphne's goal. So first 20 minutes, bit scary.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But that back line was absolutely solid. It was nice. It was solid. I was like peeking out from behind my scarf because at this point I had my scarf over my face and all you could see was my eyes. I looked like a football hooligan, but I was just cold. Yeah. Where it'd been raining all day, and it was just like, yeah, we're definitely at Stamford Bridge.
I'll be honest, I've never been to Stamford Bridge. It's not a ground. I'll have to bite the bullet
I
and do
don't
it someday.
recommend.
Well,
I don't recommend.
yeah.
You can do it once, but I don't recommend unless you're following your own club.
Well, there is that.
Then I suggest you go support your team. But please don't have any expectations. They've even got a tea room now, actually, in the ground, which is very interesting.
As well as a hotel.
Yep.
Interesting. We should say for the game. I mean, Matt, I'm assuming you were watching on from beyond.
Yes.
What was your view on the first half? Should Arsenal have gone in ahead, or was a 0-0 fair?
It just felt very flat, and I don't know if it was the nerves of this one being the first WSL game, and that sometimes they have behind closed doors friendlies and things like that, so help them get back into the match practice, but it didn't feel like they did. And because they didn't have that practice, I think it all sort of fell out of sync.
We had played Crystal Palace the previous weekend, and
yes.
You haven't forgotten
This is the problem, is that because I haven't been on the podcast, I haven't been.
You're right.
Did you forget that we beat that team that think they're Brighton in disguise for that scoreline?
We beat Bayern Munich at Meadow Park. How far back does your memory go?
This is where, like, again, because I haven't been on podcast, I'm basically missed two. I only missed one. One podcast. It's one of those where you just don't know where your head is half the time. But then again, on Saturday, I did end up tripping up over myself trying to get to a ball, and then I ended up also then tripping up myself trying to get back up again. So it might have been a bit of a delay there.
A bit of a concussion, maybe.
Yeah, you never know.
But the game itself, we should say, so there was from what I gathered, listening on the radio on the way back, and having seen the highlights, Chelsea seemed to have some strong chances early doors. It was, I think, Macario had a volley straight at Daphne, and Lera got an early tangle. And it sounded like first 10-20 minutes, early Chelsea storm, we weathered it. And then we started to have some moments of our own. I think Beth Mead, there was a moment when I turned my TV on, I saw the chance, I think, worked to Beth Mead, and I thought, Becky's going to bury that top bins, and she misses. And and then I think Russo had earlier had a chance when she should have gone through the middle, and she'd gone the wrong way around, and she'd go wide, and I think she had Kyra Cooney cross on the other side. If she plays it over to her, Kyra's got an empty, got no players around her, so she can take a touch and have a shot. So 0-0 at half time, which I mean for me is decent at Stamford Bridge. Well, decent away at Chelsea, considering how last season went. I was happy. And I was hearing positive vibes on the way home that the result was Arsenal were in the game, we were in the room. Second half, Chelsea. I've got the two games up. Chelsea mix up a bit. They bring on the likes of Hermano for Ramirez, which I again was surprised because Ramirez is a brilliant forward. I've heard since she may not have been fully fit. And watching on, it just maybe felt the needle was leaning more towards Chelsea, and I spoke to some friends and I said, "Would you?" I was happy to cash out on a 0-0, and just the longer it went.
As well at the time. Yeah,
I think because I think the discourse going in was if Arsenal lost this, the title race was over. Well, for me, the title race was over after we lost to Chelsea earlier in the season. It should just be the final nail in the coffin. I don't think there was any semblance of a race, and maybe if we'd won, it would have been. Maybe we could have made something of it, but I would have happily taken a draw. But I mean, going into those 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, I was thinking the chance. I mean, I thought defensively we'd been okay. Chelsea had moments, but hadn't really stretched Arsenal. Arsenal had some good moments, but hadn't really looked clinical. It didn't feel like any side had the big shove, if you see what I mean, the big siege. And my main worry was, with 10 minutes to go, how hard do Arsenal push this? Do they sit deep and hold it, or do they go harder? And I think they just maybe, it's the old Arsene Wenger thing, isn't it? Losing the game, trying to win it. I think they just committed one too many players forward. And Chelsea have got a red hot Lauren James fresh off the bench against Mariona Caldente, who's played the 90 minutes, Kim Little, who's played the 90 minutes. Both are shattered. Arsenal short at the back, and what happens. I mean, we'll go to you this one, Lottie, because you were in the ground. I'm guessing you were at the far end when the decision was made.
I
At
didn't
the
see
time,
anything.
You
I
didn't see
didn't see
anything?
anything. I haven't had a chance to look it back
Okay.
either. I don't particularly want to.
No, I got the
Um,
phone up. Well, Matt, you had the
Obviously,
benefit of
from that
replay.
situation, all I saw
Yeah.
was this red card fly up at someone. I was like, what? So
Matt, you had the TV on before any replays or anything. You see that in real time. Did you think it was a penalty?
That's a hard one because it's one of those where one of the first rules as a defender is you don't slide in the box because someone's going to go straight down.
Right.
It's one of the most. It's an unwritten rule for if you're a defender, don't slide in the box. If
Don't go to ground, isn't it?
don't go to ground. Just try not to give away a penalty. Essentially, sometimes it's unfortunate you get the handballs and things like that where the ball hits your hand or whatever, and then they give it. Not much you can do about it. But when it's something you can do and you can control, you shouldn't be doing it. And this is where you're expecting one of your most experienced players to be calm, collected, and be able to try and show her down the line and try and get it out for a goal kick or a corner, so then it's not as effective. But she goes in. And I think this is the problem because there's two angles. There's one angle where it looks like it's a penalty, and there's another angle where where Kim Little wins the ball. Now, for me, I thought she slid in. She may have got a touch, she may not have got a touch, but because she slid in and Lauren James has gone down, it's a penalty. That's the reasoning behind that. So I can see where the argument is that it is a penalty, and I can see the argument that it wasn't a penalty, but I don't think I know this was like a bit of contention about videos and things like that. I don't think if you had VAR, they could have overturned it or not, because it would have been so difficult to say yes or no on that.
You'd be going frame by frame to try and find that reason, which we know VAR referees, if that is the term, loves doing. But I always feel a bit of a pang with managers when they don't get a decision and go their way, or a decision goes against them. How and they go to the interview after and say, see, this is why we need VAR, and I'm thinking, no, that's not the solution. Look, I'm a big lover of, I like the concept of VAR. I despise how it's been executed, but I do believe in the concept of VAR. But that's not the thing. That's not the thing to focus on. And I think it's just used as a deflection tactic now. I thought in real time, I thought penalty. I was one of those moments when I saw Lauren James make the counter. Mariona's trying to match her, and for me, Mariona has just got to do the most cynical foul in the universe. I would go as far as rugby tackle her. I would just take her into you got to absolutely shoulder barge her, and Lauren James rides it. At that point, it's I would say Miles Lewis Skelly, except he's since his red card rescinded. You have to take the yellow. You have to take the player out before she gets into the box. The moment Lauren James got into the box, and Arsenal were in major trouble, and I could just see it developing on the team, thinking it's going to happen. And then, as you mentioned, Kim Little, I felt in this game, for me, maybe Kim Little would have played that game, has played that game 90 minutes, time after time. And I remember she, did, I think, 120 minutes in the League Cup final. She was, I think, player of the match, and we went to Kingsmeadow and got a 0-0 draw. And, in this fixture, she's brilliant. She's amazing at midfield. And I just think this one I just don't think she has the 90 minutes to play this caliber, this level of game that she used to be able to. And I think we saw at the end, I thought the lunge she made, the tackle she made, I think she does get the ball, but I think it's the ref is more than entitled to give the penalty in real time. And I have no issue with that whatsoever. It's annoyance, but I don't begrudge that.
I think the one thing that probably is a bit annoying, there's actually a photo going around and the penalty's awarding, James is still on the floor and she's laughing.
Well, yeah, you would. Because
that's what probably set up.
I don't like this discourse, because there's people moaning about referees and claiming stuff like James. For me, you're a forward, you go in the box, you're driving at the defender. You're either trying to get past the defender, or you want the defender to bring you down. That's your role as a pacey winger, as a forward. And if somebody is knackered enough and mentally fatigued enough or stupid enough to stick a leg out, go for the ball when it's not on, I have no issue with that whatsoever, and I'll be celebrating if I've won a penalty with 5 minutes to go in a London derby. So that nothing to me whatsoever. So I think the decision is justified, and again, I think it's a sign of maybe Kim Little is maybe for me getting beyond the age curve. I don't think she can play this full game for 90 minutes. I was surprised that she wasn't subbed off because their Velty was on the bench, but I think Velty was taken off against Brighton just before half time. I'm betting that she wasn't fully fit for this game, and maybe she's on the bench, but even though not fully fit, I won't get on to Kai across in a minute if we had a storming game in the midfield, but I just felt this was a game where maybe we were seeing the Kim Little, who is looking like she's nearing the end game at Arsenal, just from a physicality perspective. We've seen her having to manage her minutes this season. She's been subbed off earlier and earlier, and I think at the weekend we maybe saw why. Of course, the big talking point wasn't the penalty. The big talking point was what happened next. Now, Lottie, you saw a red card fly in the air.
Yeah,
When
I
did you
saw a
find
straight
out?
red as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, and then I got told no, it was 2 yellows. I was like, I didn't see no yellow cards. I
No.
saw that red. That was it.
This
Yeah,
is
when I-
what's
yeah,
this is the BBC's fault.
Yeah, so it's which we'll get to, but when it happened in the stand, but quickly, did you know what it had been given for, the red card? Did you have any idea? When did you find out?
Maybe. Well, everyone was just trying to get like straight on their phones.
Yeah.
I found out within a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so I was confused because I thought this was 2 yellows. Because
Yep.
what happened was McCabe had been booked for dissent, and I thought maybe she just kept on talking. She had kept on talking, but it was a straight red. So it's a 2-game suspension. So she missed the Bristol City game, which we'll get to. She's also going to miss the Manchester City game this weekend, which we'll also get to. So she is sent off, filled with rage. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
we've
She
seen this
booted
happen
her
so many
tunnel
times
on the way out.
yes, we've seen McCabe tread the line when it comes to discipline, and we have a laugh and joke about some of the antics, but this has been in the post for some time, hasn't it? This level of it's just stupidity, isn't it? And immaturity. Well, someone who's meant to be a senior level player of the team and captain of the country.
I'm just gonna, sorry, Lottie, just quick jump in because I'm actually proud of Katie to go this long without actually getting a red card.
Well, yeah, this is the second red card for the club, and it's the first straight red for the club.
This is, I think, if she hasn't gone, I think it's over a season. It's been over a season since she got a red card to begin with. So
last red card for Arsenal was against Manchester United in 2022. That was for 2 yellows in the game, a game which one could argue cost us the league title because we were a goal down at home to Manchester United but pressing, and that silly red card meant, it was the game we ended drawing at 1-1. But I mean, back to you, Lottie. This is it's immaturity, isn't it, from a player who's supposed to be a senior member of the team?
Oh yeah, no. As much as I've always said, like, there's no team without Katie because we need that dirty player, and she is that player.
She's a
But
warrior.
sometimes she lets it go. Like, I wouldn't say dirty. I mean, like, mean. She's the only one who can be mean out of that lot. As much as I love them, and you see like Leah's face, resting blank face, as people call it, in her photos. But the only one that I feel sometimes that really has a bad backbone, and that is Katie. But I feel like she's losing her head a bit, and I know it's starting to grate on me because it's unnecessary. And now I wasn't too fussed that we lost her for Bristol. Wasn't fast. Katie Reid got 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Not fast. Which was a privilege to watch. I will talk about that later.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
But when you've got City back to back, that's when we need Katie. And now we're like, although she'll be fresh for the cup, we need her for this weekend. Otherwise, we're going to slip from those Champions League spots.
Do you think this is something? I mean, is it too late to say for Katie McCabe? Can Leopard change her spots? Is this something that Katie McCabe can maybe get out of her system, or is it something you just got to accept? Well, Katie McCabe will do this. She's a warrior. She's just who she is.
It's who she is. Like, I can't. It's grating because it's at key points of the season when we actually need her when it happens, and that's what really gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
But you're not going to change Katie McCabe. I'm sorry. She's 29 years old now. No.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
chance.
it's too late. I mean, I would say if this was a 19-year-old,
I think I'd be disappointed if she did, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, if this was a 19-year-old breaking into the team, you could go, okay, they're young, they're immature, they will learn from this. This is stupidity. But yeah, it's just
She's 29.
She's 29 till she's 30. 28 to 29. I expected obviously better, but then it's Katie McCabe. Brighton buries a penalty. We're down to 10 players. The game's over, and it was indeed over. It's 1-0 to Chelsea, and it's another game. Just flat out, when was the last time we actually won at away at Chelsea? Anyone know the year? Anyone?
It's the 5-0 game.
5-0.
So I think it's 2018. I
Yeah,
think
2018. Yeah,
Yeah,
2018.
We've had to go through this history, Adam.
We haven't scored in the league away at Chelsea since 2019 when Daniel van der Donk scored after 5 minutes. So that's
right.
bonkers.
Bring Danny back.
Well, we should say there was an own goal last season, but Arsenal goal scorer. Just make that clarification.
No, she still gets that one. It's not the own goal.
one positive I want to take from this game, and I said this in the preview. I really wanted Rene to be brave and pick Kyra to go in the midfield. I think maybe because of Level's injury, it was kind of forced upon her rather than by choice. Lottie, big Kyra fan. Thoughts on the performance?
She had a brilliant game. She was just, it's like Kim was never there. Like, I hate saying that. That feels bitter on my tongue, but she's fitted into Kim's boots very nicely, and it's what we need. I think what I'm really looking forward to now is Vic Palova's return and them two playing together. I am so excited for that.
Yes.
If Vic can get back to the same level as she was before her ACL, we've got the dream midfield. I'm excited.
She's back in training, so fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it'll take time. I'm patiently waiting.
Because of a defeat, Arsenal dropped to fourth. Manchester City, Manchester United have moved up into the spots. I think that is going to move. That's going to be very fluid. I think it's going to move around a lot. What it does mean, obviously, is with the game at the weekend, it's absolutely crucial we get something, because all of a sudden those teams could suddenly pull away. Although we should say after this weekend, Manchester United final game of the season at Emirates Stadium, the run we have is a bit more. I would say it's a bit easier for us because both Manchester clubs have still got to play Chelsea and have still got to play each other.
Yeah. We've played the top half of the table. We've only got the bottom half plus them. That's it.
We've got them out of the way, and now hopefully whatever happens next weekend, we can have a good run of form. And I should say the last time we had a setback with Rennes in the league when we drew 1-1 away at Manchester United, another late goal, equalising that case. We bounced back with a really good push, and I'm hoping we can get something similar. And starting with Arsenal 5, Bristol City 0 in the FA Cup. This was, of course, a delayed FA Cup tie because of the frozen pitch. So a midweek night under the lights at Meadow Park. I was there. Lottie, you were there. Camera in hand. And it was quite the rapid start. 5 goals, 4 before half time, and then a fifth and second half. A brace for Stina, a brace for Mead, and Frida got in with the goals as well.
Oh. Sorry, Adam. Chelsea have just announced Kira Walsh.
Oh, yeah, they were. Well, yes, they took 24 hours, but they got to the end. Yeah, no, it's fair enough. Hey, we'll get to transfers in a bit. Don't worry. But I must admit, we'll just say when we're coming out the ground after the 5-0 win, I felt absolutely great. And then we all looked at our phones and just heard the news that Chelsea had just out of nowhere, having signed Germa, put in a massive deal for Kira Walsh as well. And it was just like, oh, great, thanks for taking us from a high point and just dragging us back down again. But anyway, the game 5-0 Arsenal, Bristol City. Stina Golf, only 3 minutes on the clock, tapping in
2.5.
2.5. Well, okay.
I took a picture of it. 2.5. 2 minutes and 27 seconds.
Very rapid start. Frida scoring after the keeper Burns fumbles. Kyra Cooney crosses shot. Frida falls it in. Stina, I think, brilliant finish for this one. High press defender, robs the defender of the ball, curls at mid-top bins, and then Mead with a header at the back post for 4-0. I mean, Matt, I'm going to bring you in for this one. Goalkeepers Union. I was watching the game and I thought the keeper had an absolute nightmare.
Yes, and I think this goes along with, this is basically a Bristol City team that has been unchanged since their relegation from the WSL, and it feels like they haven't learnt their lessons. And if they are in the fight for the one promotion spot, which I think we all have opinions on about that, but if you're going to be in the WSL, you need to learn your lessons. You can't afford to lose your 5-0s to the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea. Yes, I mean, you look at Palace a couple of weeks ago, lose 5-0 to Arsenal, but then before the winter break, you lose 1-0 to Man United. So there are things where they Palace have done things better than Bristol City at the moment, but that's beside the point. This game and the just as a whole, it just feels like as soon as that first goal goes in, they
Mm,
whatever confidence they had completely gone, and that's not just goalkeeper, that's the
mm.
entire team. I don't even think they registered as shots, or if they did, it was very late in the game.
I'll just have a quick look. I've got the stats in front of me. So they had one shot and one shot on target in the entire game. Arsenal had 12 shots with 6 on target, which kind of sort of tells its own story. I mean, the first goal, low cross in, I thought the keeper was going to claim it, misses it somehow. Steiner taps it in pretty much on the goal line. And then the second one, I mean, it was the second goal, Frieda's goal was just 5 minutes afterwards. It's a clear corner. Kyra goes for the rocket. And I don't know what the keeper does. I don't know if she lose track of the ball. I don't know if
She's tried to like parry it up and sort of over
yeah.
the crossbar. Instead, she sort of parried it, and then I don't know if it's because of her footing, and that's sort of that's not given her the reach to push it right over. But it's just silly mistakes that if this was a league game, say that had happened, then you're probably sitting there and going, "Oh, thanks for the easy 3 points and the goal
Well,
difference."
I mean, if this was almost became the perfect rebound game after the doom and gloom of
Yeah.
the Chelsea game, this was actually what Arsenal needed. But to be fair, it was gift wrapped to them. I mean, Mead's diving header, I think the keeper should get that. I think that almost goes for her hands. I think it's poor technique. And then the last goal in second half. I mean, I was thinking. No, well, this is the thing. I was thinking when we went 2 goals up after about 8 minutes, I was thinking, right, double figures, we could do this. We've done it before. I was joking with Lottie before the game. I was saying, what's score prediction? I said, go for the 11-1. Bring back the spirit of 11-1. And with 2 goals up after 10 minutes, 3 goals up after 60 minutes.
Me and Miles went for 5-0.
Oh, you went for it? Yeah, you did.
We called it.
You called it. Yeah, I was thinking it could actually be on here. If Arsenal really push this at this intensity, just Bristol are just chucking them in. The cross, as you say, I was right behind the trajectory, and again, I think the keeper makes an absolute mess of it. I think if she can get her feet right, get her hands right, and it just sandpaper hands, just straw hands, just straight through her hands, just straight through into the goal. It's a great finish, but it's a Beth Mead admitted afterwards.
Did you see the interview?
Yeah, she said after
yes.
she wasn't trying to shoot; it was a cross. But there was a moment in the first half where she had a similar cross that just missed the far post, and I thought, oh, that was almost a throwback to the cross of old. So it was great to see it come across the second half. The goalkeeper Jackie Burns, actually, for those of you with memory caps on, remember she saved a penalty for Reading against Arsenal way back at the start of the 2022 season at the Select Car Leasing Stadium, and she actually had a really good game. So I was stunned to see this from her, and I think by the second or third goal, you see on the ground she looked absolutely devastated. I just think I felt so sorry for her. Again, you can't sub the keeper off in situations because it will destroy her. And to Bristol City's credit, they in the second half, it sounds patronising. It was only the 1 goal, but they sort of the game was dead.
It was more damage control, I think.
Yeah, and I also think,
unfortunately,
it did look like Arsenal pulled the brake back a little bit as well. The handbrake was on.
Yeah, there's not something quite not right on the left-hand side with Rosa. It's head down and charge at the moment, and it's not working. The way that Leah Volti was screaming at her to pass the ball at one point, like in the corner from where we were sitting at them, is something not quite right there. Something's not clicked into place for Rosa, I don't think yet.
No, I don't. I think there's a lot of love
She's not
online
a one-woman team anymore, if you know what I mean. Whereas at Harkin, give her the ball, off she goes.
I think that's a really good point, because I know there's a lot of love online for Rosa. People want to see her play. She's exciting and want to see her play more. But then you see her play against Bristol City, and you realise there's a reason why we're not playing Rosa, and maybe why we have made a certain deal in the transfer market. I really wanted it to be the game for Rose to shine, and maybe it wasn't. A player that I think did shine, and I was amazed by in that game, and I'll go back to you in this one, Lottie, because you raised this earlier. Katie Reid. in at right back.
I really think you should give this honour to Matt because he's been ranting and raving about
Oh,
it for so
okay. Well, in
long.
this case, Matt,
And I got
I
the
know.
privilege to watch it for the first
fair enough.
90 minutes,
Matt,
so
Mr.
I'll give this one to Matt on the Academy Watch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Okay, well, this is.
I don't want to disappoint him.
No, it's fair enough because we love it when an academy player makes that step into the first team. A lot of the players, they go out on loan, they get sold, we don't see them again. But once in a while, a player makes that leap from academy to first team, and maybe, just maybe, Katie Reid is making that leap. And I was saying I do not just the defending, but the tricks and spins and on the pitch. And I was thinking, crikey, we've got a real baller on our hands here. I know it was only Bristol City, but still, it was a pretty good performance.
Just Katie Reid is such a brilliant prospect. I think we have in similar levels what Lotta with Amoy does is where she raises her level every season. Katie Reid can do the same. It's a case of at the moment again. I'm not happy that she's playing at the back as a fullback because
we've had that,
of the height and everything.
We won't go there again.
We've had that argument, but at this moment in time, there's that panic button from a lot of the other teams because they do not know what to do when this very tall player is running at you, almost like a sprinter in a 100-meter race, and she's fantastic. And I think what's also a credit is the youth coaches have taught her how to be so technical on the ball, as well as how to be tactical in the runs. And I think it's also sort of bred into the Arsenal DNA to play the Leah Williamson sort of ball where you can basically crossfield passes. So it's almost like you've got a hybrid of Leah Williamson, Lotta Whitman, and just I don't want to say Wendy Renard because of the height, but it's almost sort of in that sort of mould where you've got a player there that's got untapped potential. And she is causing chaos. Yeah, okay, it's Bristol City, but wait until, say, in a couple of years, we might be seeing her against Man City, and it might be against Man City where she comes up from a corner. It might be this weekend. Comes up from a corner. I was going to say,
just very quickly. I'm kind of asking a question I think I know the answer to, but would you play Katie Reid away at Manchester City at this point? No. You wouldn't. No, Lottie's shaking her head. So I'm
absolutely not. Against money, sure. Are you crazy?
So that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
No.
I think it just depends on her psychologically how she's feeling. Obviously, she missed the game against Chelsea. But she was on the bench, so she was there if needed to. It's a case of what does Renee want to do in this game. Is it going to be a case of where she thinks that Katie will be needed, or is it a case that Katie might be? You need to sit and watch this game. And I'm not against her not getting minutes at all or anything like that, because there's times where you need to be on the bench to be watching and learning, and it's almost like when you get minutes, you're grateful for it. Next season, you'll be getting more minutes, and because this is the role that she wants you to play, and it's a bit similar to some of the other players we might see. So if Michelle Agerman comes back next season, she might be playing more of she'll be getting more minutes than she is, say, at Brighton at the moment.
Speaking of, what should I say, Matt? You mentioned a point because you mentioned about defenders on benches, and one defender that was on the bench on the night, which did come onto the pitch, was of course Amanda Ilestead, who finally made a return, and her lovely child was in the crowd. Yeah, it was a wonderful moment. It was great to see her back on the pitch. Lottie, great to see Mandy back. Another spare defender if we need that defensive reinforcement.
Yeah, I think because the girls were evenly split up across the North Bank and warming up and stuff, the first thing I saw was like, oh look, there's Amanda. And we were like, oh yeah, like just completely unfazed by it. I couldn't get my head around that. But yeah, no, I was standing there thinking while she was warming up. I don't know what got into the girls beforehand, but they probably had the giggles when warming up. I don't know what happened, but I got some absolutely wicked photos of them. Just smiling and laughing amongst themselves. But yeah, it was so good to see her back. It was so exciting. Like once she came on and the ball came down to the North Bank, she was straight in that box, straight behind Stina. And it was just like, yeah, we got Amanda back. She likes to score in this kit, and I kind of wish she did, because that would be the ultimate homecoming.
Well, yeah, she
that
scored
was her last goal before.
Yes, Watford last season. Yeah,
Yep, and I've got that frame by frame on my Instagram too.
Just looking, well, we'll talk about Amanda and defenders, and looking a bit further ahead to the summer. So obviously, Lycadina played in this game, and those watching from TV would notice she's playing as a defensive midfielder in a very wild positional change. But in the team, we've got Leah, Lotta, Laya, Amanda, Katie Reid. I don't think there's anybody I'm forgetting, although some of the younger players are obviously out on loan. Yeah. I mean, I would say, are all those going to be there next season, do you think? Oh, presuming that we have Steph Catley as centre back as well, because obviously he's a left back now, become a left centre back. So
who are you going to, Adam? Who are you going to?
Who am I going to?
Yeah. Who are you asking?
Oh, both of you. Open.
Oh, right. Okay. So I think we might see. I think this will be last time. Well, I think Amanda's probably going to go back to Sweden. That's not Arsenal or anything like that. I think it's just because family reasons.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. And I think it would be nice to send her off in some sort of style. Whether it's going to be a good couple of cup runs or a cup final at Wembley, which I'm still touching wood that happens. And I think that will definitely happen. I think Lycadina might be looking at her options. There is some talk that potentially 4 players will be leaving the club. I would imagine that centre back. There's definitely at least 1 or 2 centre backs definitely going this summer.
I think we had a bit of a surplus. And it was a bit of a panic. So we overbought some because of Blair's injury. Yen Beattie was sort of at the end of her career. We needed to shore up the numbers at the back, and yeah, I think we've navigated our way through that, and I think maybe we can shed some weight in that area, but remains to see what happens there. Of course, us going through does mean we are through. We're now playing London City Lionesses at Meadow Park in a week and a bit's time. Tickets are on sale. I've got mine. Lottie, have you got yours?
Well, it's a week on Sunday, so it's not a week and a bit. It's a week on Sunday.
Well, a week and a Sunday. Well, so 7 days plus a few more. But yeah.
2. I'm debating. I'm thinking about it. I'm half and half. There's still tickets available. So
there are still tickets available. Do make sure you come along. It should be a very interesting one. Arsenal played London Lionesses obviously last season in the League Cup, and that went rather well.
Does that mean Taya's got to sit this one out as well?
No, Taya and Freya will both be available for this game.
Yeah, Arsenal would have allowed it. But yes, it's also a repeat of our FA. We had an FA Cup tie. I think it was in Jonas' first season back in 2022. I've said it before, one of the worst FA Cup games I've ever watched. Hopefully this one goes a lot better. Now, as I mentioned earlier, as we were leaving the ground, we were hearing that there was some transfer news because Chelsea were making a big push for Kira Walsh. Little did we know that there was also a lot of noise around Arsenal, because I was expecting a rather quiet end to the window. Obviously, Katrina Mollicall had gone to Roma. We knew that we wanted a winger. I think we know it for a while because Lena Hurtig, bless her. I wish we could see more of Hurtig, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. She wasn't in the squad again. So, Mee's been in and out of the team. We've got Ford is now injured, we should say, after the Chelsea game. She was subbed off. She'd missed the Brighton game as a precaution. She was tried for this game and she didn't even make half time. So she's out injured, and I believe that's still going on. McKay is a left back winger, suspended as well, so short there. But transfers were made, and not just 1 but 2 on the final day. Now, I don't know about you, just as a fan perspective, is it better to get, from an excitement perspective, is it better for the transfers to happen in the first day or the last day? Because there's something about a transfer on the final day that just gives it a bit more extra weight. It's like the Mesut Ozil effect. They're almost even better because they happen right on the final whistle. I was going to be Matt, but Lottie's not big on that.
Okay, I'll give you the Everton perspective, because Everton got their business done pretty early, and they needed it to. So I think it's more about needs must than what is it? I don't want to call it desperation, but sometimes it's almost hitting the panic button and letting it happen. I've been caught. I've been on this podcast so many times and said, oh, I want to see a left back. It's on my wish list. I want a left back because Kate McCabe's at some point. Kate McCabe's either going to get injured or she's going to get a red card, and Steph Catley could potentially get injured, but now she's moved to centre back, so she's still an option at left back, but she's not going to be out. So bringing in Jenna Nice-Wonga on deadline day, I think everyone was expecting it to be not the final days. I think they were expecting it. I think on Wednesday or just Wednesday. Or
it was. I think there was news of it. It came out of the blue.
Yeah,
I think it was McGlynn of the Athletic who broke it. Obviously, she knows the NWSL quite well for obvious reasons. And yeah, I think it was just after the Gurma deal had sort of been, that had gone through and done its course, and everyone was cheering. And then it's like, oh, we're going to sign a defender as well. 24 years old, played at Gotham, won Rookie of the Year at the NWSL a few seasons back. And from the people who I don't follow the NWSL, but I'm friends with people who do. And when this news broke, they were very, very, very excited about the prospect of this player coming over to play for Arsenal. As you say, Matt, left back, although she has been playing more as a left winger sort of in midfield recently. So it sounds like maybe there's a bit of a Katie McCabe about her as well, hopefully without the red cards. You've actually had a chance to watch Nice-Wonga play. What were your thoughts on her?
So oddly enough, she actually was on the bench for the USA England friendly in November. But she didn't get on the pitch as well.
Okay.
But this was during the Gold Cup, and there's a nice little YouTube compilation about her coming on the pitch from about 75th minute. Within this cameo, she wins a penalty, and she's always looking to go forwards. And I think that's the most impressive thing is that you've got a player that wants to keep playing forward. She doesn't want to play it back unless she has to. Sometimes you still see it with Renee, where Renee's team, shall we say, where there seems to be an overlap with Jonas, where the ball keeps being, you're on a counter attack, and all of a sudden the ball stops and you're going backwards. And it's just like you want that ball, you want to be going forwards. You don't want to keep going backwards. You should only be going backwards if there's no other option. But I think she's going to offer a lot of opportunities to. I think this is potentially going to have the same amount of effect that Emily Fox had.
Well, this is the thing, because Emily Fox has rocked our world at Arsenal. I think we can all agree. I mean, never before has a right back had such an impact on the rival. I mean, we may actually.
Rock star at the moment.
What? She's what?
I said she's the real rock star at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I should say we may see some of the collateral impact of her arrival. We may discuss that in a bit with some of the other transfer news. But the instinct is thinking, is she going to be an Emily Fox Mark II? Is she going to be like the Emily Fox of the left back, left wing? Got Fox rampaging at the right. You got Nice-Wonga on the left. I don't think she's at Emily Fox's level. That's the vibe I get is Fox is probably one of the best right backs in the world, or certainly in the league. I think Nice-Wonga has the potential, but I don't think she's there yet. But a younger player, 24 years old. I think the noise we're hearing is that Arsenal are looking to go a bit younger. There's a lot of getting older elder statesmen in the team, and going very late 20s, going into 30s. I think this is an ideal signing for. I think we're seeing the direction in which we're looking to move now, and I think this hopefully is the start. Left back, which again I mentioned Katie Reid, and obviously Lottie gave me a very loud shake of the head. But Manchester City away will be quite the debut to throw Nice-Wonga in for. But you think she'd be able to handle it?
What choice do we have? Or would
Well,
you
there is that.
Katie Reid in? That's my question to you guys. What choice have we got?
So would you start her at left back at the weekend?
Do you know what? I just for fun, I'd stick Amanda in the middle with Leah and put Steph Catley out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, we might get to
just
that.
For something different,
Yeah.
But it's not really time to make change, and it's just I don't know what's going to go on that left-hand side, and that makes me anxious.
I think one of the good things is that she's got at least 6 months to sort of get to know the league. So I think she'll probably be sitting on the bench for the City game, and that's nothing to do with how I'm fit or anything like that. I just think she's going to have to a bit similar to Kate Reid, sit on the bench, just watch this game, and she might come on for the last 20 minutes.
I'd throw her straight in. I would just like cold water, like ice bath shock treatment. Just throw her in, because you didn't buy. I'm assuming you haven't bought this player to sit on the bench. You've bought her to be your left back. So be your left back. You know, if Katie McCabe is suspended and Steph Catley you're playing at left centre back, if you don't play in this game, it's clear that you don't trust her to be your left back. So what was the point in signing her? Might as well. I would say do it. I would say, it'd be the perfect learning experience. And if she can only get better, if she messes up, well, then, it's her first game, it's a debut. There are worse debuts to have. I've certainly seen a few down my time and thought, oof, this could be a rough one. And she'll only be better for it. I'll throw her in it, and I would say hopefully, but I think confidently she would do rather well. At that point, I thought that was it. Transfer's done. She came in around about lunchtime. All relatively straightforward. Fair enough. We got a defender in. Sorts out our issue with the McCabe suspension. We'll shut up shop and get ready for Manchester City away. Not so. There was still more drama to come, because out of nowhere, there's been a brewing storm, transfer storm throughout the window, but sort of came to a critical mass actually around the same time as the Kira Walsh news broke about Chelsea, that basically Chloe Kelly had basically burnt her bridges with Manchester City. She'd gone public. It's well known that she's not been playing this season. She's been stuck on the bench. I think she's only made either one start or one appearance in the WSL this season for Manchester City. Was nailed on starters. It was her and Hemp were the two nailed on wingers to supply Bunny Shaw with balls to head into the net for Gareth Taylor. And then out of nowhere, she's been, sent to Coventry and shoved on the bench. And it's rolled on and rolled on and rolled on. And Chloe Kelly's basically gone public and made her comments, which were on Instagram, not happy with the situation. And I think I was hearing Manchester United. I can understand she wanted to go there because it's local. She settled up there. Brighton are coming for a bid. Kelly had said no, so no. But that was a drama that was not on our radar until it was, because then we put in a bid. And suddenly Arsenal had not only put in a request to loan Chloe Kelly for the rest of the season, it had been accepted by Manchester City, and it became a big long waiting game. When I was talking with a lot of people about this, thinking, where are we going? What's the news? Where's it going? Has Kelly said yes? Is she going to go? Is she going? And it was an all-nighter. It was one of the first all-nighter.
We left it to a minute till 11 o'clock.
Yeah, pretty much. I think
Arsenal style. This was one I did actually follow. Now, you boys know for a fact I don't do transfer windows.
Yeah.
I go down in my basement and batten the hatch, and I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, with this one, I was like, okay, let's see how this plays out. 1 minute to 11 o'clock.
Well, I'll come to this one, Lottie, because I gave Matt Nice-Wonga. Chloe Kelly, of playing, obviously we know rather well, won us the Euros, should be mentioned. How excited are you with the idea of Chloe Kelly? Because you're not going to play, obviously, the weekend.
Obviously, she's got that. Yeah, Man City won't allow it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I found it quite funny when this was announced on Twitter, because our good friend Rob, he asked if it included Chelsea. I thought it was quite funny. I thought it was quite funny. But do you know what? I'm looking forward to Beth Mead reigniting some sort of energy, because that connection, if you can build that connection between her and Chloe Kelly again, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Like with Ford out, Chloe can slot straight in onto the left, Beth on the right, Leslie up top, Marianne in 10, and that makes me excited. But it's all about the gelling and how it all clicks.
Yes.
At the moment. I think Chloe needs to find her joy in playing football again, because she's been very unhappy from what we see on social media, what she put out. So I just hope she can find that spark and start winning or helping us win points.
So,
or even the cups.
Got some fun Chloe Kelly trivia.
Oh God, here we go.
So for you and for those listening in and watching in, so it's a bit of just some fact questions. Firstly, this is obviously a loan deal. Arsenal have loaned in Chloe Kelly for the rest of the season. In what season? What was the last time? We'll give you just a simple season. What was the last season that Arsenal loaned in a player for a season? Arsenal women
You've mentioned this on Twitter.
I dropped this on social media, so if you've been following my socials, you know the answer.
So I believe you mentioned it was 2014.
It was 2014. And do you remember the player without looking?
I think it was a Dutch player.
It was Turid Nark. It was either Dutch or German. I can't remember which way around it was.
I do apologise for those that are wondering whether we'll find out.
Yeah, came loaned in and for that season barely featured, but I think did actually get a goal in what was known as the WSL Cup then. Now I said to go see Chloe Kelly. Yes, she was used to play for Arsenal. Do you know when she left Arsenal for Everton?
I do.
Go on, Matt. When did she come?
It was a bit later than that, Lottie. It was 2018.
2018. She had a few loan spells. She had a few loan spells, and then made the move permanent in 2018. And against who did Kelly score her first goal for Arsenal?
Well, I'll bring up a little bit of a story. I think she scored against Lewis. But the reason I mention that is that I've got a friend who actually did play against Chloe Kelly. For that, and she didn't have very nice things to say about Chloe. Let's just say that
it was Watford. It was Watford again in the WSL Cup. She had a few goals against Watford. She scored against I think Millwall as well, and a few against Liverpool. Actually, got different seasons some goals against Liverpool. Very good winger, reliable goal scorer, and I think can play on the left and the right, which I think gives us a few more options because we know that forward. Well, Rene likes to move forward, left and right, move Mario onto the wing. So there's all sorts of combinations we could play there. And I think at the end of the day, we've been wanting a winger. We've been wanting a winger for so long, and we finally got one. Now, the follow-up question is, Kelly's contract is up at the end of the season. She becomes a free agent. We have her on loan to the end of the season. Would you, if it was a good enough loan, would you sign her on permanently for next season if there was an opportunity to do so?
I think this is going to be a difficult one because if she makes the European Championship squad, I think she will make her mind up on what to do after the European Championships. So whether or not England do well.
Well, should we put it this way? Regardless of what Chloe Kelly would like or not like to do, should Arsenal make the offer? Let me put it that way. Should Arsenal entertain the notion of signing her on after her loan, do you think?
It is difficult. I think we are going to lose Lena Hurtig. So, I know I would mention players going out, but I think if we're definitely losing Lena Hurtig in the summer. So we do need at least one winger. For me, it's a difficult one because she's taken a spot, although minutes away from Rosa Kafaji. And I know we're talking about Rosa Kafaji, but if you take Kelly in the summer, you need to then turn around to Rosa and say, look, we need you to go out on loan to get yourself some development, get you to understand the league. I wouldn't go to Brighton on loan because they're seeing Michelle Ackerman's not getting that many minutes, as I've mentioned already. So I would probably look at maybe whether or not Everton will need her is a difficult one. Maybe
I know you're the spokesperson for Everton. I know you want all the Arsenal players to come on Everton. We gave you Gio, we gave you Monaco.
No,
are you Everton in disguise? Is that the chant we've got to sing now for Matt?
I'm Everton in the community playing for them, but that's a different matter.
Is he blue? Is he red?
Realistically,
is he South red or is he a North blue?
If you were to look at where Kafaji, if let's say Kelly comes in, Kafaji loan, Liverpool would probably make sense because Olivia Smith's been kicked to death and people getting fed up. Well, not to death, but
I've seen
kicked to pieces.
It's awful.
So I think it would make sense to give her a loan where where Rosa can sort of learn more than just be sitting on the bench getting 10, 15 minutes every now and then. But that was if that was to happen in the summer. It's a lot of ifs because there might be, so you don't know what's going to happen between now and the summer.
Well, just on that one, just quickly because we've got one more sign to get through. Yes or no? I'll ask both of you, Matt. I'll start with you. Kelly Arsenal, is it going to be a good signing? Yes or no?
Yeah. I'm going to say no.
You think no, Lottie? You think yes? Yes. Okay. I hope it is. I think there's a decent player there, and I think it's a good tool to have in our armoury. One player who sadly is departing, also on loan, and going to Man City in the opposite direction. I believe they pass each other on the motorway at the service stations at Newport Pagnell. Laura Wienreuter has departed. She's gone to Man City on loan. Much loved, our tiny tank. Came to us in 2022, really kicked on after the Euros and looked like she was becoming a really good, pacey, energetic, strong right back option. Looked like she got the shirt off Noah Maritz, and then the ACL went, and I think after that her Arsenal career kind of ended after that. I mean, Lottie, it's the right decision, but you're gonna miss Laura.
Yeah, I am. It's just you saw the emotion in her at full time. If you kind of stuck around and didn't panic about your train, you would have seen her walking around with the team. She was literally bawling her eyes out. So there was something that was very wrong at Bristol, but it's now we know what it is. She's gone up. Yeah. She's gone to Man City for the rest of the season. Tiny Tank needs minutes. Their defense is a bit shambolic. I hope we're not going to allow her to play, but hey ho.
Well, it's centre backs, isn't it? They're lacking, not necessarily full backs, and they've got Kasper anyway, so they have got options in that department.
But thing is, you can't run her down with all the competitions they're in. They need her, so she's going to have to cover somewhere. You can't consistently play Kasper right and hope she doesn't get injured. Although she is a brilliant player.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Any standout Wienreuter moments for you?
Oh, it's got to be her goal at the Emirates.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good goal.
The volley against Man United.
That day is like pleasant. But yes, that volley was just spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'd rather not remember how it ended, but that part of the game was very stressful.
I didn't mention that, but...
No, well,
someone had to.
Someone had to. Obviously, the elephant in the room and all that. But no, again, both... Okay, that's now, was it 3 signs you made in that winter window? Hafer, Wienreuter and Stina, and only Stina remains. But yeah,
enough. There's only one Jonas signing now at the club. Yeah, Frida.
And Stina.
Okay,
yeah.
And Russo. You can have 3.
And Leslie Russo.
I was going to say, hang on,
okay, let me try that again from the first season.
First season.
Now that makes sense.
Yeah, Stina and Frida are the 2, and that we did make quite a few movements at that time. A lot of love for Lara, but the moment Emily Fox arrived at the club, her goose pretty much cooked, and it's pretty much clear with Renee that she's using Katie Reid as the sort of sub option, using her as a sort of a protege youth minutes option, and Laura's too good to sit on the bench. So wish her all the best at Manchester City. Hopefully, as you say, Lottie, the parental club rules, she won't actually play against us, because we all know the former player scores against ex-club.
Being said, that City have done that for Chloe Kelly, so Chloe Kelly is not eligible for the League Cup or the FA Cup. Yeah. So the cheek.
But apparently, if we draw Man City in the Champions League, if Arsenal draw Man City in the Champions League, we could play Kelly against Manchester City. Apparently,
that's correct.
So speaking of Manchester City, we've put it off for too long. We are playing them this weekend. You may have heard at the Joy Stadium, not the Etihad. Shame. It would be nice to have given the Etihad Stadium some fans to sit in, rather than the normal swimming pool vibe they offer. We won there last season. Don't know if you recall, Man City were meant to win the league, and then someone called Stina Bakstenia scored 2 goals right at the end, and meant that title went to some team in Fulham. So first win there was actually since the 2017 Spring Series. As I said before, Kelly's unavailable, McCabe's suspended, and Kim Little is out injured. She's you may have seen at Stamford Bridge, she has some strapping on her hand. She actually broke her hand.
She had an operation on her hand since.
Yeah, so she broke her hand against Crystal Palace, and we've sort of been, I think the quote was, sort of soldiering her through the game. So she'll play against Brighton, she played against Chelsea, but she's had surgery on her hand. So obviously quite a few key players out. As I said earlier, Jenna can make a debut, Jenna Swango can make a debut. So very quickly we'll run through the team. DVD in goal, obviously. Back 4, Lottie, how will you line up for this one?
I knew you were going to come to me. Fox, Leah, Amanda and Steph.
Okay, sticking with that. Matt, for you, midfield?
It's difficult now. I will go with Cooney Cross. I think we'll start with Walty and Marnham.
Yeah, I think Kim Little out, the midfield kind of picks itself. I don't see any other alternatives in there. So you're thinking Frida at 10 and the Velty Cooney Cross pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And then Lottie, I'll give you free rein on the attack.
Oh, free frame, really.
Yeah,
Cadente on the left.
Mm.
Leslie up top and Beth on the right.
Yeah, again, the problem is with these injuries at the last minute, Ford's not available. Kafaji's not ready, clearly.
But do you know what? I also kind of want to start Stina. But then I would rather want to kind of keep her on the bench and then unleash her like we did last time.
Well, actually, you raised a good point about
Stina. Score.
No, well, you raised
tell you after last year.
Well, what I say is with the substitutions against Chelsea, when that Russo went out on the wing, and I think we kind of lost her in that game because of that move. Now the reasons for that was because of earlier substitutions. It all stacked up, and we basically ended up with a garbage hand. Hopefully, if we do bring on Stina, it's a Russo 10, Stina 9 partnership. I think work a lot better. Bunny Shaw's back. Miedemar will be available. She scored a brace against Aston Villa last weekend. So, firstly, is Miedemar going to once again score against Arsenal like she did at the Emirates Stadium? Yes. Yes, she is. Of course she is. She's going to. It's going to be awful.
Is there other player on that team that knows our club like she does? Come on.
If Bunny Shaw doesn't get us, Vivian Miedemar will. So what are your hopes, predictions for this one then? Because I'll just quickly get the table up as it stands. If I can find the button that shows it. So the table, we're in fourth, so a point behind Manchester City. So if we win, we're back into the mix of the top three. We're 3 points behind Manchester United. Chelsea they're gone. They're going to win the title. Just forget about them. So it's a 3-point pool between us, Man United, and Man City. I mean, Matt, what's your predictions for this one? Hopes and predictions.
I think we'll get a draw. Just because whenever we have these back-to-back games, we lose. You usually lose one, and then you win the other one. So, from a personal perspective, it'd be quite nice just to go. You know what? Get a point. And then they have to come over to Meadow Park, and they have sort of a mentality block when it comes to Meadow Park.
I mean, I'll come to this lot because you said before we had it with Chelsea and Man City last season before. Double back-to-back games. We have them away and then at home. We'll win one, we'll lose one. Which one are you having? The League Cup or the WSL?
At this point, League Cup.
Yeah.
League Cup.
Would you take
it's like when we played Spurs, we lost the league points.
Yeah.
It's going to be a replay of that again, I think.
So are you leaning on the side of defeat on this one?
I'm leaning against the solid draw.
Just go for the draw. I mean, I
never want Arsenal to lose. Please take that note.
I think it shows the interesting that neither of you think that we'll win this one. Even though we won last season, none of you are thinking,
unless Stina pulls something out of her magic hat like she did last season.
No, it says a lot because, again, bring it back to the beginning of the pod, talking about the Stamford Bridge game. I didn't think we'd win at Stamford Bridge. Again, maybe it's just my inferiority complex and my fact that I just get very nervous of games and I'm a pessimist, but I didn't think we'd win at Stamford Bridge. And instinctively, when I think of away at Man City, I think we're not going to win just because of our history, even though we won there last season and it was amazing. But I hope we can win. I just feel that this team under Rene, I just want to see a big away win. I don't think we've really had a really big away win, probably not since the 5-0 against Manchester against Chelsea back in, as you mentioned earlier, 2018. We haven't gone away to a Chelsea or a Manchester City and just walloped them. And I just think at the moment, with Manchester City's defence not existing at the moment, they've lost Kennedy, Greenwood's injured.
Does Villa not count?
What?
Does Aston Villa not count?
Aston Villa as a big away team
at Villa Park, away.
No, I mean as in Europe, as in the top.
Oh,
come on.
Right, okay,
No.
like Leon sort of thing. You mean?
Yeah, okay. Leon was in the
Leon.
Champions League, but I mean, we have gone to away games and won. It's been great, but I mean, in terms of the top 3 or 4, however you bracket it, we've not gone. We haven't had a away win. I thought we've comprehensively outplayed the opposition, and I'd like to see that as under Rene. I know we got a really good win against Bayern Munich at home at Meadow Park, but that was very much an atmosphere. That was a storm that I think the home fans really fed into, and it got us over the line. But I would like to see it just get a signature result. We didn't get that at Stamford Bridge, and that annoys me because I think too many times in these away games, Chelsea away, as so often, we were in the room. We were there. There were the chances. We didn't take them. We missed chances we'd normally score, and they got the winner. And it happens time and time again. And I remain convinced there was a mental block on that fixture. That a bit like the men's team going to Old Trafford, whatever happens, they just second guess everything. They hesitate. They take too many touches. The shots fly over the bar. Their shots go wide. It's just everything is just not instinctive enough. I just hope this Manchester City game, because we won the last season, there's a bit more confidence in the team that they know they can win that, and then they can win again. And I hope they do. But I have to agree with all of you. I don't think we will. So I would take a draw. Again, full time it's a draw. I would walk away happy with that. Keeps us in touch, and then we'll go from there and hopefully do well in the League Cup. So that's it. On to Sunday then. Hopefully, yes. 3 points would be lovely, but I think you can tell none of us think that's going to be likely. But as long as we get through that, it's an easy run, hopefully, until the end of the season. And that, I'm afraid, is all we've got time for tonight. So just needs me to my co-conspirator to say, where can we find you in the wild world of social media?
You can find me on VAW Pod on Instagram.
Lovely. And Matt?
You can also follow the pod at VAW on Twitter. You can also follow me at MattLR28.
Indeed. And you can find me at Adam Salter4 or Adam _Salter4 on the Twitters, the Instas, the Blue Skies. And you can also find in the same places the Arsenal in Archive. And also you can find all my writing on the Halfway Line. That's it. That's the end of our monster run through of what's been quite a crazy, dramatic, thrilling, exciting, with a bit of sprinkle of disappointment, obviously. 7 days as an Arsenal fan. Can't wait for the next 7 days. We've got a cup semi-final and a trip to Manchester. What more could we want? Come on, you Gunners.